I want to give my perspective of joy. I believe that emotions are the body's diagnostic system. I think that as spiritual beings, again, this is Jamil, chapter 1, verse 6. I think that we're aliens. I think we are all spiritual bodies in this human experience. And a part of the human gag is that we get to experience emotion, right? It is vibration. It is energy that is moving through our bodies at all time. Now, we can give it a narrative that says that it is negative or positive or whatever. It really is inconsequential because it's neutral. The fact of the matter is we all experience emotion and it will move our body in one direction or another. And the more that we train our brain to assess, to identify, to understand what that emotion has to offer us and to teach us, the more that we can direct the outcomes of what our body will do with that emotion. So for me, I believe joy to be an emotional indicator of connectedness. I do a lot of work on trauma healing. Trauma, in its most simple definition, is disconnectedness. It's anytime something is not connected and able to operate in its optimal function. So to me, joy is an indicator and a sign that the body and the spirit or mind is feeling a moment of connection. And in that moment, you feel the sensation of joy. And the more that you start to recognize those moments that trigger joy, the more you can start to piece together the story of, oh, this brings me joy. So let me tell you 3 things that you need to own in your possession to activate joy. Joy comes when you have 3 things: an acceptance of your authentic self, a sense of belonging to a meaningful community, and the ability to direct and sustain your energy. Now, what I find as so fantastic is that everything that you all had said in one way, shape, or form actually spoke to the lack of one of these 3 things or both, right? So think about it. If I have a knowing, it's one thing to know myself, the variations of myself, and there's one thing to accept those variations, right? I don't profess to say that I know all of who I am because I am always in a state of becoming, but I have put in a lot of work in the last 10 years to know the version of myself that I desire to be. And I met her and she is good. I like her a lot. We're okay, right? But without having that acceptance, right, to be able to reconcile all of those identities and to say that they are good, then you're always lacking. There's something missing. And then you externalize your power, you externalize your need for love and validation. And it's not to say that we don't need external things because we are communal beings, which is why number 2 is important. So when you find yourself disconnected at work, in home, or in the other relationship areas of your life, it's because there is a lack of belonging in some way, shape, or form. The reciprocal and equitable nature of your relationships are unbalanced in some way, shape, or form, right? So if we are knowing who we are, we accept, we love who we are. We're not trying to change ourselves. We're only trying to become the best version of ourselves. That version of ourselves feels seen, valued, and connected to other beings in some community, shape, or form, right? Some people get this from places of worship. Some people get this from work. Some people get this at home. Some people get this in different spaces. But there has to be a community that exists in whatever section of your life, right? And where it exists, you're going to find those sensations. But the 3rd piece, which I learned later after these other 2, which was really a game changer, was having a predictable way to both access and direct your personal energy. Having the ability to claim the time and space necessary to move yourself in a way that pleases you, in a way that sustains you, is a non-negotiable essential to being able to have joy. Why? Because you can have a thing that you get ignited about, you get excited about, you feel connected about, you go all in, and you have overcommitted yourself, and you have absolutely no scope of what it is you're going to do or the end of it, and you have not counted up the cost of how does this restore me? Am I being restored as I am exerting? And if that synergy, if that engine is not turning and you are not in control of the direction of the flow of that energy, then you're going to be disconnected. So I'm going to pause. I want you to take a moment. I want you to consider what resonates with you. Does it resonate with you, right? Do you think that if you could confidently say that you know and accept your most authentic version of yourself, that version is connected in meaningful, equitable, and reciprocal relationships with other humans, and you have autonomy and power to direct your energy or to cut the energy off? If those three things exist, do you think you could access joy? That's the question. This is pieced together over a decade of reflection. It's just like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this breakdown happened. Oh, that breakdown happened. And so they're all interconnected. I'm curious, what resonates